Hey guys, it's Casual Friday, and that means it's Medium Nancy Matz Friday, and we're going to be talking about how colors and sounds can affect you. See you in about 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. Hope we have a good time. But we are going to have a good time. It's Casual Friday, so that means it's Nancy Matz Friday, and we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff, and I think she can feel you a little better than I can, but give you an idea about colors and sound and some other stuff. But my house, for example, I without really realizing it, I feng shuied my house. When I got when I got permission to start painting and redecorating, I used a lot of green and black, a lot of black. People had to fit because I used a lot of black. But there was a method to my madness because the green and black and white are all feng shui colors, and so I was able to calm the energy down in my house really, really well because my house is active and it needed some calming, and so I was able to do that. So we're going to be talking about how colors and sounds affect you, and there are stuff just like how about those calming tapes and CDs that they have, right? That's how I sleep. I sleep with like the pouring rain or a fire, and things like that. So yeah. See, I'm still getting adapted to where the camera is. I'll look up from time to time. It looks great. Otherwise, it looks like my eyes are like closed, and because I'm looking directly down at the screen is where I used to look back when I had the other designed office. Anyway, my name is Charlotte. I'll be your host. I'll say that again. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, based out of Sacramento, California. We are 45 strong up and down the state, which means we can help you if you think you might have a paranormal need. We may not be able to get to you right away, but California is a big state. But we will get to you. And we also, if we can't get to you right away, we also have mediums on staff who can call you and kind of feel out what might be going on or what might not be going on, and they can calm it down for you until we can get out there. Okay, so that's one of the services we have. So it's Happy Friday. I'm glad it's Friday. Got lots to do. We're starting a new book on Sunday on Holy Structure. And I'm going to just say this. If you're watching from Facebook and you haven't signed up yet to follow, please do that. There's a lot of shows we've done, and I think you'll enjoy it if you do, because we're doing 6 shows a week. Six shows? Yeah, 6 shows a week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 6 shows a week. So yeah, if you don't follow, go. Try to do that because that way you'll be alerted to everything. And we not only do this, we do other stuff. We'll do live ghost hunts. We'll do psychic readings occasionally and things like that. Okay. That being said, if you're watching from YouTube, if you haven't subscribed yet, there's a little ghost in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and that will subscribe you. But if you look out on my YouTube page, you will see over 540 videos, all kinds of different topics, because we just don't cover paranormal. We cover other things as well. Okay, that being said, I'm going to bring Nancy in and get this show on the road. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my goodness, am I backwards? Sometimes I have to look at the screen and see which way you're sitting. I think I'm backwards, everybody, but hopefully it won't make you cross-eyed. I got my notes here in front of me. I had time to write, and then I had a situation during the week, and I thought, you know what, I ought to make sure that I cover this in between. Looks like the color is really bright in here. Maybe
It looks
light.
good. No.
It,
It looks good.
is
It
it?
looks good on this side. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Usually it's more dim. I don't say dim, but more flat. It's not as
Well, I reversed the. I got Italy on one side and Van Gogh on the other.
There you go. There you go.
On this side is a little bit more color, though it kind of washes me out. Well, I hope everybody had a wonderful day. It was really, really nice and bright. I went out for a little bit and came back, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm at a light," and I was waiting for a turn. And I actually had the sun on me. I thought, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it." We have 3 days of sun, and then next week up here, we're going to be 50, 51 degrees as a high, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm so ready for spring.
And so it begins, right?
Yeah, so it begins again.
Yeah, it never ends. It's like I get to the point where my Christmas stuff, guys. We do Christmas like Disneyland in this house, So the decorations are everywhere. I no sooner get them down and boxed up, and then it rains and I can't get them out of the shed. So
What?
I'm looking
What?
at I'm
Stop
looking at
your language here.
yeah, and I'm looking at Halloween and Christmas boxes that haven't moved out of my house. So I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna try tomorrow, but it's supposed to start getting windy again tomorrow to get everything
But
out.
you ought to explain that your storage unit was destroyed last winter, where
Yeah,
she
one of my
had it.
my big storage room that I usually use in the winter got
Yes.
taken out by a big maple tree. So
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
gonna think you live like this year round. She is
yeah,
not a
I know.
hoarder.
All I have are
Absolutely not.
I got a shed in the backyard, and that's it. And then what happens is
She had
because
patio.
yeah, these houses were built on floodplains to begin with, so that when it rains, everything goes underwater. So I mean, it's like you got to wait for it to dry up before you can even take that walk back there. But I don't live like this. I don't like living like this. I mean, it's crazy. But it's like I'm looking at Halloween. I'm thinking, well, gee, October's only how many months away? We're putting everything away.
But then
I can
Christmas is
just
right after that. I'm all for
yeah.
Christmas. I'm gonna
So I
bring
could
it up
just
here.
start over, right? Right away. So without having to log it in there. But hopefully tomorrow I get to get out there and actually move stuff out of my house, and
Well,
then I get to start.
you have to appreciate you didn't tell people that a big tree fell on your
No,
patio room,
no, my main
which was
patio
your
storage
storage.
room. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And
yeah,
they
that's
got a
insane.
it's not
And
just a
then we had
floodplain because then it did flood. It
yeah, and
flooded
then we
with
had the big branch. There's still the big branch to deal with out there.
yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
it's been crazy, and this whole storm. And so every time I turn around, I get everything boxed up, and I'm ready to haul it out to the backyard. It either gets windy or it rains again, and I can't get back there. But that's life in this house. It's been
Yeah.
like this since I was a kid. My mother and I used to go get sandbags when I was a kid. And so up
I think you
until
said
my
that
mother
before.
got into her late 80s, where she couldn't move anymore, we were getting the sandbags and putting them around, to open up an
Ah,
area by the back door because it would flood all the time. So that's just how it is.
it is,
You
it
live in
is.
80-year
So
old house. This is what happens.
it's 80 years old?
1955 we were built, so we're 70 or 80 years old.
My gosh, yeah, that's a record for sure. So that
Yeah,
kind of leads into some of what
right.
oh no, how do I stop that? By
So
the
it
way,
does
everybody,
lead into what we're talking about because for years my house, I always thought it was really homey. It was that old style with the dark paneling.
Mhm,
Always had
mhm.
dark paneling, and not that the house was depressing or anything, but I mean it
That
was
was the
always
style.
that was the style.
Yeah,
So then when I
like
got old
dark
enough,
cabinets.
yeah, and then when I got old enough to change things up and got permission from my mother, the whole all that I actually painted the paneling white because I was like, no, I'm tired of it being this way. So I made changes to that, made the paneling white in that room, and I made like a beach sand thing in my dining room, and put up like I said feng shui
Yeah.
colors. I used green in my kitchen and some green in my hallway with white, and things like that. And I know my family walked in and went, what did you do? But all the doorways framed are in green. So without realizing it, I feng shuied my house. But you got to remember too, as active as my house has been for years, something had to calm it down, and it did. Doing it that way. So that's what I'll let you get on with that. That just leads right into
Thanks.
colors.
I I love this. Why write notes? I have it all lined out, right? And we get talking. I went, oh, I'd like to start with that. Well, Christmas decorations are also in my house. They were never put up,
Yeah,
but I have some what we call the Christmas flower from Michael's,
yeah,
and they're all glittery, and they're sitting over there. And I every once in a while I go, oh, I do like Christmas decorations. They say the happiest people I read all the time in these articles. Who writes these articles? I don't know, but I've read enough of them where they repeatedly say that if Christmas makes you happy, leave it up for as long as you want. Who cares? Someone comes over and gives you grief, you say you can just go home. That makes
yeah.
me happy. I have like behind me, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 6 or 7 of these murals throughout my house.
Hmm.
And when I moved in here, there's some area over there where we don't have enough storage. This is a little house than what I had in
Sure,
Hornbrook. So we have some storage, and I have them all over, and most of them are Van Gogh. Uh, I like Spain, like behind me, the Spanish, and
sure.
I like the French, and so I keep these up because it entertains my mind. There are people who are very visual, like myself, um, and that's why sometimes I think that's why I can describe spirit people so clearly, is I'm constantly keeping my eyes in focus and looking. and and I did this on purpose, and I reversed it because, oops, I wanted more of this one shown. And if you look at to this side, that's a calming, oops, excuse me, a calm. I, I'm backwards.
It's hard.
This is very calming. Huh?
You're looking like me when I try to point out the little YouTube ghost.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like reverse. So in a turbulent moment when I can't calm down, which should I go to? The calming one or the vibrant one? Well, I always gravitate toward the vibrant, the
This is why you need a
this one.
chair that rotates. You see, because when you're in the
Yeah,
mood, you can just go.
I'm going to have to make sure I know which one I'm pointing to. So, so this is how this all started. This topic. So we remodeled. We came in here and took out the bathtub, and I now have nice little area where I put up shelving and a dresser for all my stuff and makeup, and it just I really made a nice little corner. And then I have some of my paintings that I didn't hang up because the house is so much bigger than the other one. And so I have these beautiful artworks, and one is Van Gogh of the restaurant, of course, right? I
Right,
must have known him. I don't want to think I was him, but I love his work. It's everywhere through my house. And I was putting myself together, but it was raining. It was
right.
just black outside. It was morning, like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I don't know what time it was. And I put on, can I say this? Not good. Those of you who love Patsy Cline, I am a
Yes,
big fan. I am a country western girl at heart. Um, I did get rid of some of my boots when I moved down to the city. I do keep some. And I was a horse racer. I rode horses and riding ties. Anybody knows that? And then when I started running, realized I was good at it. I gave up the horse. But Patsy Cline was one of my favorite. And the one I put on, every song was "That Man Did Me Wrong." And I was actually listening to it, and I realized, aha moment, like my walls in that makeup area is a very pale green.
yeah,
I didn't want a bright one because then the artwork wouldn't match. But Patsy Cline, with it raining on the window right next to me, I went, uh, all of a sudden, I realized I was listening to the wrong music.
right.
So I
Well,
got up. Go ahead.
Patsy Cline aside and all this, this is the music I say that, and don't take it the wrong way, guys, but music to drink by, music to drink alcohol
To
by,
recover by,
to
to
recover and drink
moan
alcohol
and
by.
groan. Yes, and
Or
drink.
my other favorite one is music to shoot myself by, but that's not that's not a good thing to say, But
Oh
that's what
gosh.
I'll say if I'm not in the mood for it. But I hear it, I'm like, oh my god, it's music to shoot myself by. So yeah,
A lot of songs
I
are
love Patsy Cline.
geared toward unhappy moments in life,
Yes,
and how we don't get along with people. And they had a cute meme, meme, on Facebook about these two women. One writes about the boyfriends, and the other one has them on stage while she's cutting them down.
there
And
we go.
so I love it. I'm not gonna, I'm afraid I'm going to say something and it's going to get me in trouble. But that is life. And I have a lot of relationship clients that call me up, and I'm going to mention a couple here the second half of the show. And we are geared toward romance, partnership, whether you have best friends that you depend on or a husband, lover, whatever, wife. And we are geared toward relationships. And when they break up, they're disastrous. Um, and I can be affected by the weather just like everybody else. And then as I'm listening, and I tell you, I love Patsy Cline. I got many albums of hers. All of a sudden, I was like more morose and
It hurts
gloomy
because
than I thought I was, and I wasn't. I was just like, "Oh, I don't like this weather." Blah blah blah.
right.
And
You
I
know
was
who else?
listening.
You know who else? Connie Francis. That's another one you got to watch out
Yeah, I don't have
for on
hers.
gloomy days because that
Yeah.
yeah that's
So
yes.
so that really impacted me. And it was funny because I was thinking about the talk today, and I had to go to the doctor. I had some checkup. I had some items that were being checked, and they were just giving me the results today. So as I got out of the car and I was walking toward the door, there was a um, small red SUV to the right, and they had some guy on. The gentleman was in the car waiting for someone, clearly, and he had his arm out. He had his arm out on the top, and he was patting it. and it was a country western song, and I meant to write it down, but it was one of the honky tonky. I love. Let's have a beer, and he was just
Yeah.
thumping away doing this, and I thought to myself, there is a good example on bringing your vibration up. He was in a bright red car. It was gorgeous outside. Sun is hitting him. And it was loud. Anybody didn't like country western? Too bad. This guy was bum ba-dum ba-dum. I loved it. And I wasn't going into an appointment with any like, oh darn, I have to go to an appointment. This was a good appointment because this was going to give me clarity and it was wonderful, everybody. Don't worry about me. But it lighted my vibration. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
And please keep me on track. I have some things I need to cover. Because even when you don't feel like it, we talked about this briefly once before where I said I like Laurel and Hardy movies. Yes, it was before me and before my
Right.
grandparents' time. I know. But I've never seen such innocent, crazy, hilarious behavior in my life. They're just so innocently being klutzy or silly or on purposely um, degrading. But for me, it was just so funny. So when everybody goes into a bad space, I always recommend lighthearted music,
Mm-hmm.
um, cartoons. I don't watch
Mm-hmm.
cartoons, but a lot of people do, or some light, fun, even if it's the movie we talked before, Topper, just
Well,
something that pulls you out of your space.
my
What?
mother, when she would have her moments during her dementia,
Uh-huh.
I would
Uh-huh.
put Grease in,
There you
and she
are.
loved it.
Lighthearted.
That was her thing because that was almost her generation. Not quite. She missed that generation, but for her, that was it with the greasers and stuff. And so yeah, that was her thing. We bring her out every time.
Yeah, that was
So
prior to me, but American Graffiti was mine. And I
there
had
you
a
go.
girlfriend. We'd go down to Sacramento when we were in the cars doing what American Graffiti, and that one hump that goes into North Sacramento, we always went too fast. It was the
There you
thing to
go. Oh yeah,
do.
that thing's a blast. It still is
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And everybody, we had this railroad. I don't remember where it was. I'm sorry, but we go through Sacramento, and then there was this up, and then quite a bit of a dip, and how many people lost their their fenders hitting that really hard. But when I stop and think about my friend Karen, the one that has past life that we both recollected, uh, she and I were the one we went with her, and she had the car. And
Hmm.
I'll never forget the good times. And I want people to remember good times because when we get into a negative space, and we're talking about color. I want to go back to color. So with that red car and the man, boom, 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 I love that. It was just like vibrant apple candy red and this loud, fun, honky tonky. Let's have a beer tonight.
Yeah,
Fun. I just loved it. I tell you, I was just like, oh my God, can I take a, I should have got my phone out and recorded the song so you guys could
that's
hear him
hilarious.
dumping on it. I wish I
The other
had.
thing I'd like to add to this
Uh,
conversation is I have friends who are bitter, and it's because they no longer have dreams. And the issue is, I'm
um,
not talking go to bed dreams. I'm talking
I'm talking.
dreams that maybe you want to travel somewhere, you
Mhm.
know, like me with this Hawaii
Yeah,
thing I got going on, or
yeah.
whatever, Disneyland or whatever. But if we stop dreaming about the things that we would like to do,
To
then there's
do.
nothing to pull towards. You know,
Correct.
things that make you happy, places that make you happy. Even if it's
Um,
going in your backyard, like I did with the feral cats and the kittens, to see them
gardening.
play.
Get
Yeah,
your
gardening or whatever.
backyard ready for springtime.
Yeah, just to
Absolutely.
do stuff like that. But the minute you stop dreaming, about the things you like and the things you want to do, you start getting bitter. So that's all part of this
Absolutely.
too. It's all mindset.
It's a mindset. We're talking vibration and color, but
Yes.
mindset is actually a vibration. When I we're gonna get off track again.
Score.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I
I'll
love
shut
this
up. Go
stuff.
ahead.
No, I
Let's,
love your input. Are you
let's suck
kidding?
some
That's what
chocolate
makes
here
this
just to
fun.
make everybody happy.
I just won't be able to talk about the dating thing with this
Okay.
vibrational stuff. Um, so I was being affected by the weather and this, and when I put something fun on, I found myself tapping my foot. Once you involve yourself with singing and acting, tapping your foot, how many people you know that dance to music? In a bad space, what I'm trying to point out to you, and I'm going to make another few steps, is stepping out of your spot and going somewhere else. So when I do a reading, I'll be talking to somebody on the phone, and I may go into it not feeling 100% or maybe coming out of a reading that depressed me. But the minute I join with another human being,
Mm-hmm.
that focus takes me out of where I was to another place. And when I come back, I don't know, it's an altered state, everybody. Don't ask me how I do it. I know I can, but I don't know what the trigger is, um, or the mechanisms. But then I realized that whatever was bothering me, it's no longer there, because when I get to react with people, it's a rejoiced moment. It's like I'm engaged with their life, and that's so important. So I want to try to teach you, and then the next half hour, how to engage, how to disconnect, and how to put it in perspective to your life. Now, we were talking about color in the house.
Mm-hmm.
People have a tendency to mope and grieve in every room of the house. And I've talked to people when I do grieving, is to please create a shrine or someplace and put the grieving somewhere else. And so I will suggest the opposite if you need to be brought back. I always tell people, what's the happiest place in your house? Lady used to call me, I called her the strawberry lady. She called from a bubble bath. She says it's the happiest I am. It's a bubble bath. And if she's listening, it was the early 90s, and she always brought me strawberries in the springtime. And so when she called, she would just say bathtub lady. And she would sit there and she had wine, and I went, oh my gosh, I wonder if I could do readings in the bathtub. I was never one. Electronics, right. Let's electrocute yourself. But that was our happy place. I must be 20 some years back. Found a picture. It was in Goodwill or someplace, and it was a backyard with wicker with a lattice wall
Mm-hmm.
surrounding it. And I always thought of myself as someone who liked the lightness of wicker with a cushion and a book, set my feet up underneath a tree and read. So to me, when I look at that picture, it pulls me right into it. And
Right.
so it offsets my thinking into a pleasant spot. Same with, I probably should have brought them over. The the Christmas decor,
Sure.
and they're glittery and they're red and green. And what that does is it pulls me to a Christmas environment, which is a happy thing to me.
Right.
So so sometimes even if you go, and I wanted to bring this up, business wear for men and women, what makes you feel professional?
Right.
And Shar says, well, black is the color that grounds her. It's also all the colors. It's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily a negative color unless you're putting it on in the middle of winter to do something like going somewhere and it's a trouble. So you may learn to associate black or dark
Mm-hmm.
colors. Like I have a dark blue on. I've been wearing these because uh, it's my T-shirt I created. You can't see it. One day I'll stand up so you can see it. I like wearing it on Friday nights. Um, it's the association with it. So you have to associate the dark colors, the dark suit, business wear for women and men, white shirts, black pants, whatever. And then men have the black and white suits over. But also, as time has gone on, you'll see the fabric change for men. Now they're doing plaid or something, and women, the deep red, the deep colors, including black, gives a sense of power. That is a feng shui mechanism. Also, it has a deeper vibration because it's all the colors together. It's hard to explain that. Um,
Also, there's studies, especially with
mhm.
hospitals and jails, and what color to paint the walls with, in those
Pink,
facilities.
green.
Because it calms the patients down, and it's supposed to
Mhm.
calm the inmates down and things like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of studies that have gone into this color thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and not necessarily do the men like it. I'm not sure if it's a true pink, peach pink or something, and
Mhm.
it calms down like the one picture over here. I
Mhm.
I got the mirror backwards. It's a very peaceful color and calming. You could probably put a bed right next to it and go right to sleep. And I
Mhm.
meant to put it up so you could see just the green part. And then the other one was set up so that you could see the vibrancy of the building behind me with the doorways, and I love architecture. I don't know where that come
I'm
from,
laughing at
but
you
the
because
colors.
I shot those 2 videos yesterday without realizing that I had shot through the front-facing camera on the first one, and here I'm showing, like, these products that people bought me, and it's all
Okay.
written backwards.
Mm.
Without realizing it, I did the whole video.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
really that's difficult. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
I feel like I'm backwards. It doesn't feel quite right, but that's okay. I'm in a good space tonight, so that's so we talked of humor or light music instead of dark and gloomy. Same with TV shows. My husband is really a police detective kind army, and I go out there and he's able to manage that really well. And I think most what I call the cool personality um, likes the energy of action. If I
Mhm.
watch something with a lot of shoot 'em ups, car races, this or that, it depresses me because there's no harmony to it, just a lot of action. And a lot of
Mhm.
people like that. I don't have any criticism. But if you watch those movies, you'll see that there's not a lot of color. They have, the color of the streets, the colors of the cars are dark. Most of the time, the colors of the uniforms, the aisle between buildings, alleyway, and so there's a sense of dread coming. And then I'm not talking about romance, but a lot of other movies focus on color,
Mhm.
particularly romance, because they'll have the floral, they'll have the beautiful rooms, and the homes that people live in, like model homes, and they have the
Hallmark movies,
peaches and
yeah.
Hallmark movies, right?
Hallmark
And
movies.
I am a guilty one for that, but I'm not primarily romance. Um, I like science fiction kind of things and whatever. Um, so anyway, so I want you to pay attention to your environment and what you're watching when you get down. Why am I bringing this up? I've had a whole list of people calling me who are really having a hard time adjusting after COVID. Some
Mhm.
have lost their jobs. Some of them have to go back to the office. Their homes were more pleasingly to the eye and to the vibration. Some work with music on that can't do it at work. And so we have to pretend that there's other ways of garnering that. If you work in a cubicle and you have gray cubicles, even for a man, your favorite sport, a boat,
Mhm.
a car, anything, and then make it bigger and brighter, but make it of a situation when it brought you good memories. Same with women. For women who have children, little kids on a day when everybody was happy, or whatever it is that really not excites you, but brings you good feelings.
Mhm.
We human beings are so triggered by emotion and triggered by not other people only, by
Mhm.
circumstances. Someone comes in the office, they can bellow out a bad mood in 10 seconds. I tell
Sure.
people, I says, have you been into a restaurant, you go in, you go, oh God, I can't sit over in the corner. I don't know what's going on, but we got to go over on the other side. Because if you go over there, you're not going to end up feeling good. And that is a true, true statement.
Well, even my studio here that's mostly red and black, I call it my cocoon. I have this.
Peaceful.
This cheers me up when I look at it. See if I can get it up for you guys. There he is. See
Oh,
my Scooby?
Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo. So he sits on the corner of my laptop.
I have a behind me, and one of these days I won't put these up, but I don't think I want everybody to see all my Nicky Nacks and children's pictures on bookshelves behind me because it distracts me to see it behind me. But I have the same things, and I'm on the computer a lot, but this room doesn't have it as so much. Um, I do have something I could show you, and I do look at this. Um, and it just makes a funny. Can they see this? Oh shucks. Um, oh, I can't see it.
I
Can you
was
see
always
that?
I was always fortunate with my journalism career that I didn't get stuck in 4 walls. I might have been
Yeah.
like a I might have been like in like a cubicle, but I was always in and
Yeah.
out all the time, covering stories and stuff. And I could understand how if you were in fact, I could take that back a little bit too, digress. As an editor, I was stuck in 4 walls. And it
Hmm.
used to drive me nuts because I
Yeah.
just didn't like being pinned in. So I would bring in stuff that that would make me happy when I looked over
In
at
your
it.
cubicle
Just
to
yeah, my
bring it up
cubicle.
even color.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, this is, and I'm so busy lately. I have papers. I'm doing all kinds of projects, But this one is and I'm sorry you can't see this. This is so cute. Two penguins, and they're looking at each other. One of them has been gulped halfway down, I'm backwards, halfway down by a big fish. And the guy says, "Relax, God's in charge." And for some reason, that makes me laugh. Like we suffer so easily. And I've been teaching and want people to understand that you're not in charge, honey. The universe is the domino effect, the body you chose for this lifetime. You're in for the ride and see how you react to circumstances. So even when
Well,
you're going through turbulence, the idea
yeah.
is how you handle it is the
Well, like with
lesson.
my house, I mean, it was never a depressing house ever because we had family energy. But
Mhm.
I mean, when it rained and there was no sun outside because of the paneling we had, the house was dark,
Mm.
always dark. There's still
Mhm.
dark
Mhm.
portions like my hallway. And once I lightened it
Yes.
up and did that to the rooms, it was 100% different here.
Did you
You
not
know,
paint the hallway? I thought you told me
the
you did.
hallway is white with the green bamboo accents, but my flooring in the
Yes.
hallway is black
But that's
because,
okay.
well, I can't put tile down because of the way they designed it, so I had to end up painting black. But I mean,
Mhm.
it's all the point of it is like my den, which was done in that mahogany, whatever that damn color was.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
was always dark, even on sunny days. But then
Yeah.
once I painted everything white, and went to lighter colors, it's so much nicer now. It's like the
Right.
house is aired out. It's like it's a bigger house.
Right. And that's really a good point to bring up. The way you have your house painted and decorated can make your house feel closed in or opened up, and that's something we're talking about.
Uh huh.
Sharp mentioned to me that some of you thought we were going to talk about feng shui.
Yeah.
Feng shui is an opinion, and
Hmm.
I'm not against that, but feng shui is also how you decorate yourself. And
Yes.
so if you look at a color scheme of the kundalini, and so when you fold your legs, the lowest part is the darkest, deepest colors and the reds. And as you go up to a mental state, the colors are light. And I want you to
Hmm.
remember those kinds of things. Like if you're having heart trouble, you want, and it's a green or deep color, you want to go to the lighter colors. The same if
Hmm.
you're serious, you got to be serious
Hmm.
about a topic, you got to write a resume or a thesis, or you got to do some real serious stuff. Then you want to bring in the darker colors around you to put you in that deep mode,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and sometimes that's really important. The same with a lady friend in Texas. She wants to do Middle Ages Scottish romance.
Oh.
And when you think of Scotland, clearly she's had some lives there. It's just she's just amazingly wonderful, and I adore her because the life force that's coming from her needs a change. She's an accountant, and now she's going to go to romance writing, and this is what she'll do for the rest of her life. And I told her, I says, bring in the colors of romance through you.
Hmm.
And she's going to get the purple drapes up and she's going to do this and that. The overall color light of her room will be like a boudoir because
Hmm.
she's thinking romance.
Couple of candles over in the corner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I tell my writers, what are you writing? If you're doing
Hmm.
Western, then you want animal pictures, you want put your cowboy boots on, honey, and you live that part.
Hmm.
And people need to remember things like that. And the student, what kind of room environment do you have your students sitting in? When I
Hmm.
was in high school, my mom, with her second husband, bought a house in Citrus Heights, and they converted the upstairs into a bedroom for my sister and I. And it was dark wood, and it was very, very depressing for me. I remember struggling because I didn't have proper light. I couldn't see well enough.
Hmm.
And so school was very, very difficult. The way I got out of it, I took summer's classes. Didn't stay home. I went somewhere to work, to study. And subsequently, I did graduate. I could have graduated a whole year sooner.
Hmm.
And that's how I dealt with it. But at the time, I wasn't aware. So make sure that you look at the light and the
Hmm.
things in the room. And I've heard that we do better. I don't know how to stop that. It just started where the thing pops up, news.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't either. I'm sorry about that. Um, so I've talked to people about what makes a room good for a child, and they say
Hmm.
actually their music, whatever it is, it soothes them. And of course, that
Hmm.
wouldn't appeal to me. But if I had to listen to Patsy Cline, I was trying to study for a test, it wouldn't work.
Well, I can
I would
say
have to.
that as a
Patsy, I
journal,
love you. Don't go
when I
there.
was in college writing, as for the paper, what did it for me when I was working was classical music, like Mozart. I never would believe that, but it did, and it would inspire me to write. I don't know if it was like it was just a lighter. It was a no thinking thing of what the music meant. I think so. It was easier to write.
Well, I'm in the 60s, so the Beatles,
Yeah.
and of course, anytime you can go to a concert. So the Beach Boys, any of those kinds of songs really put me in a positive place. Even Sonny and Cher,
Hmm.
Diana Ross, even some of her songs were heavy, but most of them were lighter. Oh my gosh, the Carpenters, all those songs of the 60s were my generation. I started at 62 in high school.
It's amazing how TV and your audio can affect your
Mhm.
mood. I mean, I remember watching The Walking Dead, and I remember because I wanted to catch up because my friend was really into it. So I watched like 8 seasons in a row. I
What
haven't been
show?
The Walking
Why
Dead. I haven't been so
Walking
depressed in my life.
I get it. I have
Coming
never
off of
watched
that,
any of them.
it's just like
And there's a
nobody
lot of
survives.
doomsday kind of movies on
Yeah,
lately and
nobody
shows.
survives, right? So I had to take a Walking Dead break, and then I would watch it later once a week. But still, I mean, it got to me. I didn't think anything like that would ever get to me. But after like 7, 8 seasons in a row, you're just like, wow, you know. So
And
it
there's a
can
lot of shows
determine
like
your
that.
mood.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it can determine your mood. I mean, when I go do an interview for a newspaper, I'm always playing upbeat music in the car to be in a decent mood when I get out there. Because you have to be a people person when you get out there, no matter what's going on with who I'm interviewing. So
I'm
it does have something to do
I
a lot.
listen to music or a show that's
Hmm.
nondescript.
Yeah,
Sometimes just having other voices around. So sometimes I'll watch a movie that's
yeah,
made in the 50s. Last
sure.
night I recorded The Ghost of Mrs. Muir.
Oh my God,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to keep that on there because I could type book easily. But I like music also in the background, and I need nondescript of my era. And so my husband, of course, listens to totally different country western and 1940s music type of thing. So 50s rather, and so it's what you're used to usually as your
Hmm.
childhood years. Now, those who've had difficult years, you
Hmm.
may pick a music that doesn't flow in your childhood. I'm not saying you have to,
Right.
but whatever makes you feel vibrationally solid.
Hmm.
I wanted to say something earlier. It was a note earlier, and we kind of went around. And it's hard to tell people because I say it doesn't make it so, but you have to make your own discoveries.
Hmm.
Maybe listening to people like me invokes some kind of curiosity. And if that's possible, we are not solid. We're
Hmm.
so much air with tissue that just. I watched National Geographic. It must have been the 80s, and they had this. I think it was in the 80s, and it was on unusual people, and there was this African village peoples, and they would dance to the religious
Hmm.
deity, and the man would pierce his arm with a metal rod. And I'll never forget this. And I remember thinking, how is it he's not bleeding? And they would pierce tongues, they would pierce other areas of their bodies or backs, and there would be no blood. And I know it made an amazing impact on me because it was control of the mind.
Hmm.
And what happens, they would not allow bleeding, but they just moved the molecules aside. There
Hmm.
was no damage, just a hole. It takes 3 days to patch it up and then knit it all back together. We are fluid. And so
Hmm.
when you think of a bowl of water, and I love Dr. Makako and all these wonderful scientists that show you what, I can't think of names, I should have looked this up, how water in a glass is affected by different
Right.
music. And if you think of that, that's what we are. We're just 98% water.
Well, it goes the same. I mean, Nancy and I aren't perfect people. We have
Oh,
our
heavens no.
upsets. We have our depressions, just like anybody else, where we get into funks. But over the years, I've learned how to get myself out of the funk. Like she says, watching something that I love to watch, listening to music that I like to listen to.
Yeah.
You know, and it's taken a long time. Just like I realized also that if I had to control the types of books I read, if I was reading in bed before I fell asleep for the night, I had to watch the kind of books I've read because if I read something negative, I would have a nightmare
Oh,
because it was
okay.
it was set up in my mind. That's the last thing
The
I
fear
saw
factor.
and took
Mhm.
it in. Yeah, and then I would have nightmares. So I had to stop doing that stuff, doing that.
It'll be the same as watching a movie,
Right,
the
right,
dead stuff, and then go to bed. You're gonna be
yeah.
dreaming it.
Well, yeah. So I mean, there's ways, and I know it's hard when you're feeling depressed. It's hard to come out of it. I get like that. I get in ruts. People don't realize it because I do this. I get in ruts and I get on here and go woo, But then I get off and I'm like, okay. So I get into these ruts too. But it's but I'm like I said, I'm able to reach back and go, okay, I like this. I like this. I like this. I look at
Yeah.
my dogs. I think it's funny. She tears stuff up.
Animals,
It's what she
amazing.
does. You know.
And
So that's what I reach. That's what I reach from. And the summers are really nice for me because, like Nancy says, I go through and do my backyard the way I like it to relax and meditate. And I can go out there and just
yeah,
shut the world off and do what I want back there. So find your
my
happy.
husband's like that. He loves that
Yeah,
yard.
you just have to find that happy medium of what makes you happy, whether it's
Hmm.
music, whether it's a TV show, whether it's maybe taking a walk or watching the birds fly or whatever. You find that medium of what makes you happy, and that'll help you come out of what's going on
And,
with you.
and it's been proven that if you can exercise, I'm not going
Yes,
to tell anybody to exercise just because
right,
I have in the past overdone it.
right.
But there's an endorphin that you can get. But I will line that with just taking a walk to the mailbox
Hmm.
or working in the backyard and getting it set up. We're going to do some stuff in the backyard, and maybe I'll get my wicker. We're going to do it in closed areas so I can read
Hmm.
without seeing the neighbors, type of thing. And that just really sets me off in a nice place.
Maybe your things are plants. My plants all die, but maybe your things are plants. And so you go out and visit your plants. I've seen Prince
Yeah.
Charles, right? What do you do? He goes out in his yard, he talks to his plants. That's his thing,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So people have different things, and I'm not a psychologist. Nancy's not a psychologist, but a lot of what we're talking about are things that I've done research on too. What colors work best in a house to keep the mood cheery, et cetera, et cetera, et
Hmm.
cetera.
Hmm.
That's you can find this stuff all over online. It's not like it's not like we're preaching doctor stuff here because that's not what we're here for. Mm-mm.
Just life at my age after doing this for got May 4th, the 33 year coming up.
Yeah.
So um, over the years, and there's something to be said about trends in homes where
Hmm.
we went through a period where dark walls with white trim.
Yes.
Now we do red walls with our peach walls, and it has to be absolutely your choice. What calms you down versus what room? And a lot of people, pardon me, of which I've witnessed, music rooms, TV rooms are usually a darker color for
Yes.
relaxation. Put your feet up, roll back in your chair, and just kind of not be mentally stimulated. You just want to get into the music. I love
Right.
that idea.
I've also
Uh,
seen a lot of trends with celebrities where they're doing a lot of tans and whites in their house.
Peaceful
Yeah, peaceful
because their
colors like
life's so
that.
hectic.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so they put like my well, this is tan in here too. You can't see it. Part of it's tan, and then my dining room's the same color. So that's more of a beach tan color too. But a lot of celebrities, if you look at, I'll give you like a Meghan. Well, I know everybody, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. If you look at like early photos of the first house they had or how they painted it, it's those colors. If you look at that place in England that they got recently got kicked out of in Windsor, she painted it with tans and brown, tans and those
They may
colors.
have different rules over there. I
Yeah,
think that the queen said, nothing that stirs anybody up. Even the people had to dress in conformity.
yeah,
So that's hard to be excited about colors, what dress you're going to wear.
yeah,
Over here, the pictures I've seen of their homes, and I know you follow it and I don't.
yeah.
It looks like they're muted colors, very subtle type things. But we don't know what their bedrooms or back kids' rooms look like. They may be just brilliant blue. So,
But colors are for whoever they are. I mean, you might like a black room. Who knows? Look at me. I mean, everything is black. Like I said, I call it my cocoon in here, my black cocoon because that's what I did. I could have picked green in here. I could have picked whatever color I wanted for the studio, but
mhm,
I
mhm.
prefer black and red. I like the color combo. But I mean, your thing could be blue. I don't know. It's whatever makes you happy and calms you down. It might
So,
be a mural. That's another fun thing like you have on your wall. Some
mhm,
people get
mhm.
big murals and put them on their walls.
Yes, yes. And like I said, these are beautiful things to put up.
Yeah,
And I get a lot of mental enjoyment out of it.
yeah,
And I also have to be able to think, so it keeps my brain moving. When you're talking to clients, you don't want to have that moment when, oops, and we all lose words sometimes. And I tell people, if I don't use a word in 10 years, it's going to be hard to conjure it up.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm gonna read some comments here. Um, I'm working on getting a new monitor so I can like have an extra monitor to read comments for you guys here
Neutral
and not have
colors,
to
as
do
Jen
this.
says. Thank
Yeah,
you. Oh,
yeah.
hello
Neutral
there.
colors. Let's see what we got. My health hasn't come since I had it. Okay. All right. Vampire movies. Yeah. Okay. I can see that. Dungeon.
Make you laugh if they're
Martin.
funny.
Ken Martin says dungeon. Yeah, it's a dungeon. The
I,
office is a dungeon. I'll go for that.
it
Okay.
disappoint a I got a cat about ready to step into the screen here, so bear with me if I can keep him from. But if he walks in here, that's all there is, So,
Well,
but
you
they're
see me
also
eating and well, you
animals
see me
funny.
eating and drinking on screen too. I don't usually do that, but I'm telling you, Mary Muter's chocolates. So
Okay, so here's an advertisement, everybody.
that
By the
makes me
way,
happy. Yeah.
yeah,
By the
um,
way, yeah. Go ahead.
if you have fun with us tonight, and you're learning anything, give us a thumbs up. It helps Char's show.
Yeah, it
Okay,
helps us. But we're
and
trying to
those
help you too. We're trying to help you guys. I mean, give you guys ideas. I mean, we're not like I said, we're not doctors, okay? But I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can that can help keep you happy in your own little world thing.
you can see me playing with this cat. I'm trying to keep him somewhere else. I don't close the door because they would meow, and I have one that's a let me say he must have Siamese in his family. It's just really very loud. I
Nothing's
want to
worse
go.
than
I want
mine.
like yes. How much time do we have?
Keep going. We got a good time.
Yeah. Um,
I'm good. I'm on chocolate. I got all night.
I'm going over notes and I've been not we're not staying with it, everybody. I did want to talk about this. We have 15 minutes, and I would like to at least bring up because this was something that happened this past week. In fact, two ladies, and they're kind of continued clients, I'll call them, and they're both ladies, and they're you know close. One's close to my age, and one is younger. And she found while cleaning out her closet, getting ready for spring, a box of cassettes, and she's been talking to me since 2000. And so around 2011, I went to digital. 11 or 12, I'm not positive. It was in
Hmm.
Tucson. Another gentleman at the psychic fair showed me digital recorders, and it just like it was amazing, amazing male uh, recording of the session. She was dating someone at the time, and had several thoughts about career and family, and eventually she got around to talking about this dating issue. And he was a dark-haired man, and um, and then she thought, well, I'll listen to some others. And as the years go on, I say people sometimes are attracted to the same types of people, and so she was dating the other man, and
Hmm.
I was describing an individual with dark hair, but I always started talking about how there would be a blonde man show up. And so what happened was she went about 5 tapes of talking about relationships, and I never changed how I talked about the dark-haired man. So here it is, 2022, and there's a dark-haired man in her life, right? Mm-mm-mm. And the thing is that he isn't in our area, and it's difficult. But I keep talking about him, and she realized that talking about this gentleman in her life was the same description and energy that I told her about the man in the past. And we started talking about time, and I said, you had to experience dating to evolve to the place where you would have a better relationship with the man you were supposed to be with. I never just talked about the men in between because it was never meant to be,
Hmm.
only the end result. And I've been told 25, 30 years. I had a lady from Nome, Alaska say she found her cassette. I said, oh, when did we talk? She says, I think it was 91. It was about 3, 4 years back. And I says, oh my gosh. She says, everything's happened. I says, it takes a long time sometimes to have things all come about. Why do I do that? How is it possible I go? And the next thing I tell people, if you get a tape from me and I go 10, 15, 20 years out, guess what? Take that trip to Italy, honey. see those monument, those and Egypt and see those pyramids, you will get back. I love doing that. And but then she said to me, "Well, we're having trouble kind of getting together." And I says, "Yeah, that does happen." I says, "Have you met any blonde men, any tall?" She says, "No." But when I describe, we talk about him because we don't every day. She says, "All that you say about him is him, even the daughter's age."
Mm,
And I go, "Oh," and that she has dark hair.
mhm.
And I says, "Evidently, you cannot have this work until you've met the blonde man." And she says, "Well, there's some blonde men at work." I says, "Have they come forward to ask you out yet?" Because I pick them up so clearly. There has to be some interaction. And if you're patient, then you'll see that. But I do find that kind of amazing that you as a soul want you to know that the man is coming, but I'm not privy all the time to know exactly what year. I said this to a gal in Florida. I said, March of any year is still a March to me.
Mhm.
So March is March is March is March, and things come out on March. Um, and she's another one. 10 years it took, and I told her this is not always with everybody. The one in Italy, Florida, she has what we call a quiet life. She's
Mhm.
been raising grandchildren. She works every day, does the same thing, and she got to move. And guess what? The house she picked out was what I described. But I described that over 10 years ago.
Wow.
So the end result, well, this is people like me do this. So it's now magic, everybody. I just do this every day for so long. So anyway, that I wanted to point out to you is the point of is all the men she dated these last 20 years have not been her ultimate and final choice. That the energy of commitment has not been presented.
Right.
Case number two: senior lady meets nice man they date. He backs off after 2 years as she asks what his intentions are. Well, you get closer to 70 and you're going to want to know how many years before you decide don't want to be in his life. He
Mhm.
says children obligations he cannot commit and he walks away from her. She calls me up. She said, well, I said he's thinking about it. He will call. 2 months to the day he left. I forgot. Did I say 8 weeks or 6 weeks that he would call back? And he did call back, and she said he was just miserable. I mean, I'm so lonely without you, ever, Mama. And she says, I'll let him my life. So he's been back in her life 2 weeks, but he's not. She says, is he going to come over during the week? Is he going to let me go over his house? Which hasn't happened because that's a family obligation thing. And I says, clearly he's still treading. Please, ladies out there and gentlemen, if you
Mhm.
have someone in your life, please don't push too hard. People who have indecisions and are in quandaries about how to do things, they're the ones that have to come to the conclusions that you're worth it. And if you push, they'll be afraid. They can't rush. So you have to wait. And I says, have you met your dark haired man? Have you started dating again? And I gave her a description. Can't say more.
Mhm.
If you're watching tonight, hello, give me a call. You know who you are. And I says, do and continue start dating because after 2 months, within a few weeks, she believed him that he was not going to be back. And
Mhm.
she was in form of grieving. I says, if you date, you stay up front. This is only casual. I want to have a good time with a nice gentleman. And she has been honest. And I says, yeah, I want you to continue dating because you have to meet that one person where you're going to have to judge which is the better man for you. It could be the man that came back, but it might have been the man that left that propels you to make decisions on the one to come. I don't always know the end result. So I wanted you to be patient and don't rush. If a man's in your life and you don't know what's going on, casually bring it up. Don't put him in a corner. Women and men have a hard time being forced into a corner. Men more often because it's a big commitment to a gentleman to make that step. As women, but I hear it more from men. Um, see, not the men. Um, I was telling her it's been more than 3 years of the second man showing up. But I said he would show up after this man can't make a commitment. She didn't believe me, and he did leave. Um, I hope I can cover this in a few minutes.
Go
I
for it.
remind her that and I did tell her because I think it was 10 years ago that I saw her dating and I heard the word engagement and marriage, and she will. I told her to relax because she would win. She wants to be a married woman. She's of the generation like mine. We don't casually just live together. Yet kids nowadays will have two or three children before they finally get married. That's what's happening now. But she's of the generation that she wants to be married, and she will be married. Um, n- that the number first man has not proposed, and to continue going out and to meet the second nice man, of which she will then be able to make a decision based on what her needs are, also, not necessarily what theirs are, but we're talking to her. Now, the second man may have been counseled by somebody that said, "You are with this really nice lady, but somehow she isn't going to be committed. You need to find someone who could be committed." So it works both ways. I'm not siding with men or women because both will call me and talk to me. And she did remind me I've been talking to her for over 20 years. 3 years is when I started talking to her about this man. But she told me it was over 20 years ago that I started telling her about being married and that two men would show up. Sometimes we have to have two men or two partners or two women to
Mhm.
decide which one vibrationally blends with us the best. I've always heard that opposites attract, and that's the theory that one will help the other grow and become more and better. Then I've heard that what you would call soulmate, the vibrations so similar. I think those people have had a rough life and they want peacefulness, and they want harmony. I have nothing against that. But younger people may need that opposites attract to pull out of that partner the best that's possible. After a while, we blend together. We'll go the road of least resistance, and it's easier. Everybody, it's easier. Well, I
Mhm.
hope I entertained you. I got that out in 15 minutes, but that was something that came up this week, and I thought it was important to talk about it.
Cool.
Okay.
Deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts, yes.
But yeah, so
Uh,
today, even though we had fun today, we did talk about colors and sound and how it can affect you. We even talked about how TV even can affect you. So
mhm,
I mean, those are just some ideas. Like I said, Nancy and I are not psychologists or anything like that, but this is stuff we've done research on online, and we just wanted to get some ideas out there for you guys because we're
mhm,
coming out of winter, which usually is a
yes.
very depressing time for people, because it's not as
Can't
light
go out
outside
very
and whatnot.
easily.
Yeah, we're coming into spring, and people want to fix up their houses and spring clean and all that, and it's just good to have ideas, and you can do it inexpensively. You don't have to do something, like repaint your whole house and pay for it, pay put out the money if you don't have the money. Something simple like go cut some flowers and
Mhm,
bring them in.
mhm.
Just to have some
Mirrors.
flowers. Yeah, just something that's, something simple could do it. So
I
hopefully
hope
we
you
gave you.
enjoyed tonight. Some
Yeah,
lighthearted conversation
yeah,
and some deep conversation.
yes,
Sometimes we take a topic and it's really hard. I think this
yeah.
one was generalization of moods will
Mhm,
affect who you are as a person. I tell you, if
mhm.
I'd continued with that heavy music, I would have put dark clothes on. And I think I was headed out to do something. I would have gone to the grocery store in a bad mood. You can't do
I have
that.
to do one thing before I sign off tonight because we're, every time I get this stuff, I never share it. And Marisa has asked me if I'm going to give her a piece. Right there. Okay, that's your piece of chocolate. I'm saving it. Okay, it's the first and last. That's all you're getting. And this is my last piece right here. Mm, that's all I can
And
say.
would you do me a favor and tell the lady and the company that she is sending this chocolate to you? What company is this so we can advertise
She
for it?
makes it herself
And does
in
she
her
sell it
kitchen.
online?
I don't know. I guess she does, but she gives it to me. I mean, I just half jokingly said because she had announced to everybody in her little group. You know how you have your little group on Facebook. She had announced to everybody that she wasn't making any more chocolate until October, and I said, "Oh my God, your chocolate's so good!" The next thing I know, yeah, there it is knocking at my front door. So it's cool, but it's really good.
Well, it was almost a little selfish hearing you snack on that, and the rest of us
Smack it
can't have
over.
any.
Envision,
I'm
envision.
one of those 86% dark chocolate, almost sour. Oh, thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Charlotte and Nancy, for a fun show. I hope it was fun.
I
I
hope it was
cover a lot
fun.
of heavy duty topics, and tonight was something that happened to me, and I went, I wonder how many people think about that, and that's why it
Yeah,
was chosen.
how it affects you. All right, guys. So let's talk about Sunday. Sunday will be the first reading. Oh my God, I'm all sticky now.
You
Sorry, gang.
well, the good.
Sunday.
I'm glad you're sticky. I would love to have a piece.
Sunday will be the first reading of the first read of Unholy Structure by Anna Maria Manalo. She's going to be with us on the 29th as well because she's written this book. She's gotten, I think, 2 other books besides this one out. So we're going to be talking with her about this book plus the other one she's got out. So that's something to look out for. Monday is going to be interesting. I have looking this back up. Jared Cooper is going to be on. Jacob Cooper, and he's scheduled for 9 a.m. How I did that, I'll never know. Boom. But
He doesn't know what he's doing to you.
I'm going to melt in the sunlight.
Should I call you to make sure things?
Yes. The way things have been going. Oh yeah. So he's going to be on me talking about NDEs on Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific. However, I'm going to make a decision on that this weekend whether I'm just not going to. I might shoot it at 9 a.m. and then hold it and release it at 6:30 for you guys. But otherwise, you can just when you get off work or whatever, you can look for it online.
What country is he from that make it 9 o'clock in the morning?
Probably over in England somewhere, or Australia or someplace. I didn't even know to ask.
9 hours, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for him if it's England. 15 hours if you go the other, depending on what side of the country he's on.
Never mind what time I stay up to. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
Miles does never go to bed, honey.
Yeah, I mean, just stay up and just do it. And then, like I said, we're starting Unholy Structure. The Patreon, I am going to work on editing that or the first video to go out, ahead of time. And to give you an idea, this is an interview I did last week. It's not going to air officially on this show until April.
Ooh.
So whoever's a member at the Patreon is going to get to see it Monday or Tuesday. Woo-hoo. It'll be available.
Wow.
So
all right.
That's the fun of the Patreon is when I do those, you guys get to see them a heck of a lot earlier. Okay. And if you have any guest suggestions, please do. I'm more than willing to make calls and find out so you guys can get these guests on that you want to see. All right, so just let me know. I'm really open. I'm not going to jump down your throat or tell you the guy's stupid or something. I don't know. I'm not going to do that. Oh. I'm open to everybody, and that's the fun of doing the show. Is we're open to everything. So whatever idea you might have, send it my way. Okay. But that being said, show us some love. I see some love I see some love up there. Yay! I love seeing love up there. But I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I know it was a crazy night, but sometimes you just got to let it down on Fridays, Sometimes.
Well, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
We try to have a little bit of fun, and it's relaxing.
Have a little bit of fun on Fridays.
It's relaxing, and we cover a lot of different topics.
It started really good into the weekend and stuff. Yeah, and so I want to thank everybody again for coming, and I will see you guys on Sunday. And we will see Nancy again on Friday. And hopefully we can get something, Nancy and I will get something going for the Patreon folks, and get a little extra maybe next week. And the thing is, we're not going to, that's the other thing, we're not going to turn around after a show like this and then do another show over at Patreon. We'll set up a day to do it. So
and maybe you should put in the chat room, send Shar a note what time is the best for you, and we'll take an average.
Yeah.
And send a note in to her if you want me to talk about something.
Yeah. On what time work better, pick a topic, do whatever, we can do that. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming, and it's going to be a glorious weekend. It's going to be sunny through tomorrow, and then it gets ugly again, but that'll be my work day tomorrow.
Yay.
But I want to thank everybody for their support. The numbers on the RSS feed are going up this month, so we're gaining again, so that makes me feel good. And the numbers, of course, we're always looking for followers, so if you haven't followed us yet on Facebook, please be sure to do that because we announce a lot of stuff over on Facebook. And please subscribe over at YouTube. I'm not even going to attempt to point out where the little ghosty guy is because I have no idea. So just
about where my hand is on hers.
Yeah. See, there you go. See, you got it. Yeah, there you go. So at least she got it right. So click on that to subscribe because we do have over 540 videos over there, and they're all different topics. I mean, I cover everything. We cover abuse, murders, you name it. We even cover food shortages. I mean, we do all that stuff. I'll call it this thing. So I'm a journalist. I get bored. Okay. So anyway, again, I will see you guys officially on Sunday for Unholy Structure. So I'll let you go. I'll shut up now. And if you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 people. We are equal opportunity here at California Haunts Radio. And Nancy, stay on afterwards. I got to show you something. Okay. All right, guys. This is it. I'm leaving. I'll show you Nancy's info, and then Nancy and I have to have a little chat. Let's see where am I at. I'm at wrong button. Everything's at a different angle here too, so all the buttons in the different spots.
She's really fancy, you guys. You should see what she's got set up.
I'm not fancy over here. I'm just still trying to get used to everything. All right, here's Nancy's info, and then we'll run the credits, and then I'm going to get off and talk to Nancy for a bit. All right, here we go. Websites, nancymatz.com, nancymatzauthor.com with the N, M, and A capped, youtube.com/nancymatzpsychic. And the books are Help Get Me Out of This Funk, Two Worlds, Developing Your Psychic Skills, and The Unwilling Sacrifice. And of course, those can be found either through her website or at Amazon.com. Okay, and for those who haven't done so yet, or you want to try, the link to the Patreon is, if you look at the description of the show for tonight, go down the bottom, and it's right there underneath all of Nancy's information. So you can check out the Patreon. Okay, that being said, have a nice weekend, you guys. I'll see you Sunday. Later.
Bye, everybody.